Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Anache, the marketing manager at Curiosis. We are really excited to have you here for this webinar. In today's webinar, we will highlight recent developments in 3D cell model research and demonstrate how the Cellular Live Cell Imaging System enables real-time monitoring of dynamic changes. Here's a brief overview of today's agenda. We will start with a look at 3D cell models and how they compare to 2D models. Next, we will cover the current research trends and market insights. Finally, we will introduce our live cell imaging system Cellular and its key applications. This session will cover the basics of 3D cell models and how they differ from traditional 2D models. Before we dive into the main topic, let me ask you a quick question. Are your 3D cell models truly alive, not just structurally but functionally? Today we will explore how we can actually see what's happening inside them in real time. 3D cell models are cells grown in three dimensions, unlike traditional 2D cultures. This 3D setup helps the cells behave more like real tissues, allowing for more natural interactions. They better replicate in vivo conditions, which make them essential for drug testing, disease modeling, and tissue research. Here's a brief comparison between 2D and 3D cell models. While 2D cultures are limited to flat layers and lack realistic cell-to-cell and microenvironmental interactions, 3D models form tissue-like structures that more accurately replicate in vivo conditions. In 2D systems, cells grow on single plane, receiving uniform exposure to oxygen, nutrients, and drug. In contrast, 3D cultures support multidirectional growth, often embedded in gel or scaffold, creating a more physiologically relevant environment. A key difference is how cells interact with their surroundings. 3D models enable more natural cell communication, leading to more realistic morphology, gene expression, and behavior. Additionally, 3D cultures form gradients of oxygen and nutrients, generating localized microenvironments that resemble real tissues. Finally, depending on the method, 3D models can take various forms, such as organoid or spheroid, each tailored to specific research goals. Organoid and spheroid are common types of 3D cell models. While both are 3D cell, they differ in structure, formation method, characteristics, and application. Organoids are 3D cell structures derived from stem cells and differentiated cells. They self-organize into complex, organ-like shapes and often contain multiple cell types from different tissue layers. Because of this, they closely resemble the structure and function of real organs. Spheroids, on the other hand, are compact rounded clusters, usually made up of just one cell type. Their structure is simpler than that of organoids. When it comes to clustering, organoids grow in the matrix-rich 3D environments like matrigel and require specific growth vectors and cell matrix interactions. They often take weeks or even months to fully develop. Spheroids, in contrast, are much easier and faster to make. They typically in just 2 to 3 days since they don't need a matrix. But one downside, they may lose their shape over time. So even though both are 3D models, they serve different purposes. Spheroids are great for drug screening and toxicity testing, especially in cancer research, because they are simple, fast, and cost effective. Organoids being more complex are better for disease modeling and personalized medicine. They can be made from patient-derived cells and used to study genetic disease or testing drug responses in more realistic way. So in the end, it really depends on what you're trying to study, whether it's speed and scale or realistic organ-like function. Now let's take a look at why 3D cell models have been gaining so much attention recently and how the global research landscape is evolving around this topic. Recently, the FDA made a big change. Now, new drugs don't always have to go through animal testing before starting clinical trials. This brings us one step closer to using more human-relevant models in research. Because of this, 3D cell models are getting a lot of attention. 3D cell models are much better at showing how cells actually behave, how disease develop, and how drugs work. That's why researchers all over the world are actively using 3D cell models for drug testing, disease studies, and even personalized treatment. In fact, research using 3D cell models like organoids and spheroids has increased exponentially in recent years. This graph shows the relative growth in the number of research publications using organoid and spheroid models over the past 10 years. In particular, organoid technology is expanding rapidly with applications in organ simulation, disease modeling, and precision medicine. These trends clearly indicate that organoid and spheroid models are emerging as key tools in life science and medical research, while overcoming the limitation of traditional 2D cell culture and animal models. 3D models are being used widely across many research fields. In cancer modeling, these models help us understand the tumor microenvironment, study how cancer spreads, and evaluate drug responses. This enables the development of more personalized disease models. In addition, 3D cells play a crucial role in drug screening. Because they allow for long-term repeated monitoring, make them ideal for assessing drug toxicity, predicting reactions, and tracking the effectiveness of cancer treatments. These models also let us study cell-to-cell interactions, making them essential for organ regeneration, especially when using organoid-based systems, as well as for developmental biology research. And finally, 3D cell models are useful in studying processes like cell cycles, proliferation, apoptosis, and protein expression, offering valuable insights into cellular behavior. Here are a few published studies showcasing how the 3D cultures are improving biomedical research. One of the most notable examples is the Human Cancer Models Initiative. It focused on creating patient-derived organoids and other 3D models that closely resemble real tumors. These models help researchers better understand cancer biology and develop personalized therapies. Global research teams are actively advancing their studies using 3D cell models just like in this example. Now let's take a look at the market perspective. The global 3D cell culture market is growing rapidly. Key drivers include the shift away from animal testing and the rising demand for personalized treatments, especially as cancer increases. As regulation on animal testing becomes stricter, pharmaceutical and biotech companies are stepping up, and with strong national R&D support, the 3D cell research market is expanding even faster. In this session, I will talk about the requirements and challenges of live cell imaging in 3D cell research and highlight some key applications where it's actively used. I will also introduce Cellular Curiosity live cell imaging system and show how it supports advanced 3D cell research. As powerful as 3D cell models are, they present significant challenges, especially because of their complex structure. It's harder to track dynamic changes or cell interactions in real time, and using deeper layers can be difficult. In spheroid, for example, cells might even shift or get damages during observation. This is where live cell imaging really makes difference. It allows for real-time monitoring, timeless tracking, and clear imaging of different cell layers, all while keeping the cells healthy and undisturbed. This technology helps researchers truly see how cells behave over time in natural 3D environments. As you can see in the 3D cell model research, live cell imaging plays a key role. It allows us to track cellular dynamics in real time and gain deeper insight into cell behavior. Through time-lapse imaging, researchers can visualize changes over time using both images and videos. It overcomes the limitation of endpoint assay by providing continuous data. Dual mode imaging allows simultaneous visualization of markers, protein levels, and cellular structures, giving researchers a more comprehensive view. And with high reproducibility and quantitative analysis, it significantly improves reliability. When combined with the incubator, the system maintains optimal conditions for long-term lifestyle observation. Here we have the automated lifestyle imaging system, the Cellular series, which includes four different models: Cellular Nano, Mini Plus, Pro, Stack, as you can see in the image. With its compact design and efficient lifestyle imaging capabilities, Cellular has received various certifications and awards as listed below. One of the great features of the Cellular series is that you can place it inside an incubator whilst in being able to monitor cells in real time from an external PC or laptop. This setup lets you run experiments while keeping the cells in a stable culture environment. They stay free from any external interference, which lead to more accurate and reliable results. Additionally, you can easily switch out the vessel holder to use different types of vessels, such as dishes, flask, well plate, and slides. You can also change the lenses for three different types as shown below. Except for the Cellular Nano model, all Cellular products have moving camera positioned below a fixed vessel stage. In most live cell imaging systems, the camera stays fixed while the plate moves during imaging. However, with cellular products, the moving camera and fixed plate setup allows for stable imaging of multiple points without losing focus. This is a significant advantage, especially for imaging suspension cells, spheroid cells, which are prone to movement in the medium. Let me introduce a few key applications that leverage the core functions of the live cell imaging system Cellular. These examples will demonstrate how this technology supports advanced 3D cell research, focusing on four main applications. For spheroid formation, we used 96 value bottom plates to set the cell. In these wells, the cells begin to gather and make contact, and over time, they slowly form round, compact shape, creating what we call spheroids. You can clearly see this process in the video below. We capture the images every 15 minutes using the Cellular Mini Plus. The video shows comparison of spheroid formation between two different cell types, each seeded with different cell numbers. In the next study, researchers used the Cellular Mini Plus to observe spheroid formation from liver cancer cell line. They tested the inhibitory effect of two different compounds and sorafenib, a well-known inhibitor of liver cancer cells. At the 30 days after seeding, they evaluate spheroid formation under various inhibitor concentration. This study clearly demonstrates how live cell imaging can be used to evaluate the efficacy of new drugs by providing long-term, real-time visual data. In this experiment, we used cancer spheroids to monitor the real-time toxicity of an anti-cancer drug. We started with HEK293 cells tagged with GFP and seeded them in a 96 value bottom plate to form spheroids. Time-lapse images are captured using the Cellular Pro. As you can see in the images, the red fluorescence intensity increased over time, especially at higher concentrations. This demonstrates how live cell imaging can be used to visual track drug toxicity in a dynamic and quantitative way. The timeless videos on the left highlight the differences between the control and drug treatment groups, clearly showing how the drug affects spheroid structure over time. Using Cellular's fluorescence analysis, We measure the red fluorescence intensity, which allowed us to quantify spheroid viability. The results are summarized in the graph on the right. This graph shows that compared to mean intensity analysis, analyzing cell level fluorescence intensity made the difference between the two spheroids much more evident. It highlights the importance of high-resolution single-cell analysis when evaluating drug responses in 3D models. We also observed that the spheroid size decreased as the drug concentration increased. This highlights the drug's clear cytotoxic effect on the 3D models. Organoid developed can be monitored and analyzed in real time. This image shows stitched view used to observe the growth of two types of mouse organoids. By combining multiple images into one, we get a wider view of the development process. Here's an example of mouse gastric organoid which I briefly showed earlier. Using the cellular flow, images are stitched and captured every 30 minutes over 24-hour period. This time-lapse video shows the organoid as it grows over the course of a day, making it easy to track its development step by step. This next data was captured using the cellular mini plus. The researcher recorded the formation process of each organoid type using time-lapse imaging. Here you can see growth data from three different organoid types. Images are taken every hour for 21 hours using green fluorescence at 10x magnification. You can clearly see how the organoids develop and changes over time, which highlights the system's precision for real-time analysis. This video shows the growth of gastroloid cells monitored using the timeless function. It was captured with the cellular mini plus at 1 hour intervals over a period of 4 days. The red fluorescence staining clearly highlights the shape and size of the cell for better visualization. Now I will introduce the last application which focused on cancer immune cell interaction. In this case, we evaluated how NK cell kill cancer cells by observing direct cell-to-cell interaction. We used the GFP expressing U2S spheroids co-cultured with CMTPX labeled NK92 cells. Using time-lapse imaging was performed every 30 minutes over a period of 24 hours. This allows us to monitor changes in real time. In the top row, we see bright field images. At first, it's difficult to distinguish the two cell types, but with dual fluorescence, the NK cell and tumor spheroids become clearly visible. Over time, we can observe how NK cells surround and infiltrate the tumor spheroid. This experiment demonstrates that real-time live cell imaging provides powerful visual evidence of how immune and cancer cells interact dynamically. In this setting, the tumor spheroid served as target cell for NK cells. In the previous slide, we confirmed cell-to-cell interaction using two fluorescence channels. However, we couldn't measure the actual extent of cancer cell death. Here, dead cells are stained instead of NK cells. This allowed us to visually quantify the level of cancer cell death caused by NK cell activity. As shown in the images and timeless videos, the cells form a red ring along the contact boundary where NK cells approach the spheroid. As the NK cell concentration increased, the red ring became thicker and the green spheroids gradually shrink, indicating increased target cell death. Especially at the 3 to 1 effector to target ratio, NK cells were densely clustered in specific area and cell death occurred most frequently in the region. We then measured the spheroid size and set ROIs to analyze residue fluorescence intensity. This allowed us to evaluate the cytotoxic effect of NK cells by tracking fluorescence changes over time. It's a strong example of how live cell imaging can support functional immune cell analysis in 3D environments. Let's turn our attention to the software that supports the Cellular system. Cellular is also provided with a powerful software that includes a wide range of analysis features, enabling researchers to go beyond imaging and gain deeper insights from their experiments. If you want to observe changes over time, you can set schedule to capture images in the timeless sequence. Since the device can be placed inside an incubator, you can capture images at your desired time point over an extended period without any issues. When you need to view a large area at once, the stitching function allows you to combine multiple images into a single comprehensive image as shown below. When using 3D cell or animal model like spheroid in experiments, you can get clear images by using the Z stacking and projection feature. This allows you to take multiple images along the z-axis and combine them into one. The image on the right shows how 15 images were captured at 8 micrometer intervals and combined to create a much clearer spheroid. Additionally, when using the Z-stacking feature, you can include selected Z-plane images in your timeless videos. This is an example of mouse intestinal organoids captured using the Z-stacking function. The image on the right shows the organoid after 12 hours with Z-stacking applied. The timeless video allows us to observe the changes in the shape and size of the organoid over time. One of the most commonly used features is measuring fluorescence intensity and cell confluency. Fluorescence intensity shows how strong the fluorescence signal is, and confluency tells you how much of the surface is covered by cells. You just upload images taken at different time points and click the analysis button. The software automatically tracks the changes over time. You can easily export the data or display it as graph, making it simple to analyze things like cell growth, gene expression, or toxicity using fluorescent marker. At this point, among the two methods for measuring area, let me introduce the one that measures spheroid size based on its circular shape. The software automatically detects the spheroid and calculates its area, similar to undo area measurement. Simply upload the timeless images into the Cellogger Scan software. Select the spheroid cell under the analysis tab, and the spheroid will be highlighted in yellow. Click the Analysis button, and the software will measure the area for each image, showing the result in the area section. You can also export the raw data to quantify spheroid size based on drug concentration. Using the Cellogger analysis software, we track the growth of two types of organoids. We use the organoid area and eccentricity as analysis parameters. The result shows that both organoids grew steadily in area, while differences in eccentricity highlighted in variations in their shape. Eccentricity is an important parameter for identifying structural abnormalities in organoid analysis. A normal organoid is usually close to circular shape, so its eccentricity value is close to zero. However, abnormal organoids often have irregular shape, resulting in higher eccentricity value. This shows that the Cellogger system can effectively analyze organoids growth and morphology, supporting advanced research in the field. In addition to the applications we've covered so far, Cellogger also enables dynamic observation of various cell types in a wide range of experiments. Earlier, I briefly introduced Curios's Cellogger system. Each model offers key features, so researchers can choose the right one based on their experiments, purpose, and setup. First, Cellogger Nano is extremely compact, about half the size of an A4 paper. Thanks to its size, it can be used not only in incubators but also in clean benches and other spaces. Next, the Cellogger Mini Plus is the most representative model in the lineup. It allows users to easily and efficiently perform basic live cell imaging experiments. Cellogger Pro is an upgraded version of the Mini Plus. It supports interchangeable lenses so user can adjust the magnification depending on the target and purpose. It also offers dual fluorescence channels allowing observation of multiple markers at once. Finally, Cellogger Stay is slightly different from the others. It's optimized for large-scale cell culture with multi-layer vessels and allows external monitoring through timeless and multi-position imaging. Cellogger has been well received by many researchers across different fields with positive feedback on its performance and easy to use.